Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right-hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Josh. Yeah. Hi, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Thank you.
Well, awesome. Well, it's a tremendous honor to be able to talk to you about what's going on right now. I mean, it seems like it's an amazing time to be in Sepultura right now, especially with a brand new album on the horizon with Quadra.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. I think we are in a great momentum. The lineup is very strong. You know, our organization, managers, and all, great label, an amazing following. You know, I think all that helps. You know, for us really to focus on music and really explore as much as we can on music. You know, itself. And I think Quadra is really a consequence of the momentum we are living in. You know, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's so great to see that too. I mean, after decades upon decades of being a band and just being able to go through so many different types of sounds musically, it's great to be able to see kind of like a little bit of everything on this album, and it feels like that's a concept in and of itself, being able to see all these different sides of Sepultura in one album.
Yes, I think that was the initial, I think, concept. You know, I mean, everything is very much influenced by numbers, numerology, geometry. You know, I think the concept of Quadra. You know, it really helped us really to divide the album in four parts. That was the idea. You know, like a vinyl a double album. You know, side A, B, C, and D, and every side it has like a very strong characteristic. Of stuff that we used and did before, you know. I think first the side is more connected to the old school trash, you know, of the Beneath the Remains days, Schizophrenia, all the bands that we were listening during those days and stuff. The side B, it's more connected to our percussive side, our groovier side, you know, like KZD, Roots, Against, you know, that type of songs like Choke or Phantom Self from our last album that brings the Brazilian rhythms, you know, together with heavy riffing and stuff. Side C is more connected to our instrumental world, you know, which was very important for Sepultura since day one, at least since I joined the band in '87. On Schizophrenia, we already have two instrumental songs, like The Abyss and Inquisition Symphony. And since then, you know, we always like to explore the instrumental stuff because, you know, it is a metal world characteristic, you know, like you have Maiden and Metallica and so many other bands that really represent, you know, different songs in instrumental format. So we were very much inspired by that world, and especially the song Iceberg Dances of our last album, you know, which have like the acoustic guitars, the classical influence, and, you know, really explore the musicianship and etc. And the side D of you know, the last side is more connected to or more influenced by the song Machine Messiah itself, you know, which is very slow paced, very melodic. You know, we could explore different ways of using Derek's voice and you know, the choirs and orchestration. On the last song we have a female singer, you know, being a part of the song, which was something that we wanted to use for a long time, you know, to have like a female different type of texture, you know, sound texture and stuff, and it worked out so great, you know. So yeah, I guess we explored everything we did in the past, plus all the new stuff that we're bringing, you know, on the album.
Yeah, and for all of those reasons, I can get so connected to this album, and it is so fun to listen to it from start to finish that way, too, because I get to hear all these different sides that I love about the band for so long, and being able to hear the new influences that might be going forward as well, being able to hear the old school elements as well, all in one package in this great 2020 release, and I think so many people are going to be happy when they hear this when it comes out.
I hope so too. It's great, man, and you know, it's fantastic. It's a journey. You know, it's like especially nowadays. I mean, the metal world, it's great because the fan really likes the album, to listen from start to end. It's not about singles, like one song that comes out of nothing or nowhere. It's like a concept, and the metal fan likes to buy the official stuff. They usually don't buy bootleg and all that crap. And it keeps the scene strong, because the money goes to the right place, to the bands, so it keeps the whole scene moving, and it's a great momentum from metal, from thrash and all that stuff, and I think it's a great time for an album like Quadra as well.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I mean, especially in a world like 2020, like you mentioned, just like metalheads are just so they really hold their favorite bands near and dear, and they want to be able to buy the official work. They want to be able to go to see the band live every time that they come to town, and they want to be able to experience a full album from a band rather than just hearing singles or anything like that. And
exactly.
And again, just being able to hear all these different sides of Sepultura on one album, and so much to look forward to at the upcoming tour too. I mean, it is just a perfect bill from start to finish, and I'm glad it's coming here to Minnesota.
Oh yeah, man! I'm so happy with this opportunity to tour with our friends. Again, especially Sacred Reich. That it's been away for so long. They came back so strongly. First touring, and now it is an amazing album. And Crowbar, and again, we toured with them before, and we got along so well. And it's great people, great band, and Art of Shock as well. That is going to open the whole thing. And I mean, I couldn't ask for better, really. It's an amazing package, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Because touring with friends and stuff like that, it's amazing. And hopefully a lot of jamming and a lot of participations and stuff, which is always good. It shows that the bands really are building something together. It's not like only have your time on stage and stuff like that. I think it's a package that we're doing together, and so far, like you said, the response for the announcement of the tour has been very positive. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and that makes me excited as a fan as well, because it's four very different bands, but as an eclectic metal fan, I love being able to hear all those different styles and being able to see all of that in one night, and also knowing from behind the scenes, being able to tour with friends, new and old. That's the perfect time, the perfect way to be able to be on a tour is when you are touring with your friends.
Definitely. I mean, I think all the bands are really in a great momentum, with new albums, new things going on and stuff. It's great, Couldn't ask for better, like I said. It's fantastic, man. It's amazing.
Oh, totally. So, with that in mind, obviously, with getting preparation in for promoting the new album and going out on tour here in America, I mean, what's it like to be able to put together the set list and start working on the new material?
Yeah, that's another challenge, because, we have so many albums and stuff, but of course we like to focus on Quadra, so this is something we're going to develop now when I go back to Brazil. We're going to start really practicing, rehearsing, and making experiments, We have choirs and orchestrations and all that, and like we did with Machine Messiah, we're going to use some samples and stuff, to represent that live. And it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a whole new level, a whole new step forward for Sepultura. Not only the album, but especially touring, to present this album live. We have acoustic guitars and all that stuff that we already used on the Machine Messiah tour. We're just basically expanding and developing even further all the stuff and elements we used on Machine Messiah. So it's really exciting. I think it's going to be like the album. It's not going to be an intense journey on our history, but of course focus on what we're doing now, which is Quadra. So can't wait really to put everything together, and we're going to be ready for March, for sure.
Oh, and that makes me so happy to hear that too. And again, with being graciously able to check out the album from start to finish so many times now, I'm just so excited, and I have my favorite songs off the album I'd love to be able to hear live. And it's just it feels like it's the kind of album with the tracks, and knowing that there's going to be some backing tracks along with it, that it feels like every song is capable of being able to perform live in some way.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. That's the idea, and I guess, it's live is a whole different situation, I'm never really like to be so much slave to what we did in the studio. Of course, we have to represent the song and stuff, but you also need to leave room, to develop and to take the song even further after it was recorded, and that's the exciting thing, We never know where the song could go or could represent, So it's something that we're gonna build show by show, concert by concert, and gonna make an effort, really, to represent the whole album, because, like I said, it's like divided in 4 parts, and at least represent each one of them with a specific song, and we have different ideas how to portray it, So it's something that's going to be very exciting to work with the band and with our crew and stuff and light designer, really to create something very special that we've never seen with Sepultura before. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, and that's just got me excited for March as well, too. I mean, especially with it just coming about like 10, 15 miles away from me. I mean, the fact that everything is going so cool with new ideas going on with Sepultura as far as the stage show and what to look forward to. I mean, you just got me so excited right now.
Awesome, man. That's good to hear.
And another thing that I really do love about the album, not just audibly, but visually as well, I love the album cover for this. I mean, I love the black, and then in the center you just get this really cool looking logo that's going on there with everything. Like, how did that all come together using that as the album cover?
Yeah, the album cover was something that was a little difficult to find for this one, because on the last 2 albums we worked on Mediator and then on Machine Messiah, we had the artwork pretty early in the process, which always helps to write the music, to bring a little image direction, to what we're doing and stuff. But for Quadra, it came a little later, because, I mean, the concept, it's so wide, it's like we could represent and try to find different icons to represent what we want to say, But I think money, which is the coin, represented here on our cover, which the icon who could represent this prime rule of survival. We need to have money to survive, regardless of our religion or politics or where we live in this world. We need money to be born. We need money to survive. We need money to die. And basically, it's our first judgment of somebody when you meet somebody, when you work or whatever. Have a certain relationship with somebody. It's money. It's like if he's a bum or he's a millionaire, you're gonna fit somewhere in between or on the extremes. And that's how we relate with people. Judging with stereotypes, and if he's black, if he's Asian, or if he's rich, if he's poor, or if he's a communist or a capitalist, and there are concepts in our minds, and Quadra brings this question: why do we believe in the concept we have? Just because we went to a certain school, or we went to a certain university, or watch a certain movie, or if your grandma told you a story that you believe, but who knows? It could be a lie, or it could be a misinterpretation of an event or something, But you take that as true because you trust your grandma, You have no reason not to trust her, but you take that information as truth, but it couldn't be true, So I think Quadra really deals with that, the concepts and what is a country, why we have these imaginary lines that divide people by creed and race and all that stupidity, So I guess that's why the money and the coin is there, because you represent the prime rule of enslavement. Because money is an illusion, You need like at least 2 people to agree that a piece of paper have a certain value. And with that value, you exchange with the things that you need for your life and etc. But people kill and die for something that doesn't exist. It's like mind blowing. But that's why we are touching this. Quadra represent that. Like this set of rules and the cultural baggage that we have, and we are a consequence of that. If myself was born in Saudi Arabia, I will have a completely different point of view of the world, of family and women and music and everything. But I'll be myself with my same character, with my same tastes for food and for sports and everything, but with a different point of view. So I think we should respect that. In the end, nobody's wrong. We're just victim of what we grew up with. So I think the message is not to attack the differences, but to embrace them, and learn with them.
Yeah, and I've been learning so much about that through the lyrics of this album, and just like really getting the point across from where you are, with this album, and like capital enslavement is a great example of everything that you were just talking about from the album, and
Yeah,
just being able
exactly.
to, yeah, just being able to hear that from all these different parts of the world, and it's so true. I mean, whether it could be friends, it could be family, it could be religion, it could be governments. I mean, there's so many things
Yeah.
that can be used to control, sometimes for the truth, just sometimes to use you. There's so many different ways to go about that. But in the end, even though, just like you said, money is something that we need to live, to die, to be able to continue on, I'm glad that there is something like music where, whether you feel disassociated from the world, whether you can connect to other people, whatever the case is, at least something like music in Sepultura, for example, is able to bring together so many different kinds of people for a good cause in good music.
Yeah, music and art in general have that power, to unite people. I mean, Sepultura has a 35-year career, and we visited 80 plus countries in the world. It's like, regardless of the politics or religion, the doors are open for music and for art in general. It's like it's an amazing, powerful tool. It's great that we can communicate with people with so many different cultures without speaking their language and stuff, and we can communicate with them through music. It's amazing, powerful tool. And we use it. We try to use it wisely or with respect, and with responsibility, of course. And we learn so much traveling. Every time we go to a new place that we've never been before, we learn so much about everything in life. Details and how people act, why they act the way they act, and why they dress the way they dress, why they eat what they eat. And everything has a reason. And you shouldn't be afraid, phobias. It started like that with stereotypes and concepts, my God is better than yours, and my country is better than yours, all that type of stuff, which is, it's ridiculous, there's no better, no worse. We're here together, to make it happen. And we all have our abilities and our different point of view, and that's what's the beauty of it, democracy. You should be able to have freedom of speech and thinking, freedom to think at least, and I guess Quadra really brings that, try to make people understand that, your neighbor is not wrong just because he likes a different God, it's like, and yourself, you're not wrong because you like a different God, it's just, we need only to respect that, like I said, we're just victims of this cultural baggage that we grew up with, and we need to realize there are other people in the world that grow up in different conditions and they have a different point of view. And nowadays with the internet, with the conspiracy theories and even fake news and all that, I mean, it helps people to have a different point of view about events that before internet we wouldn't be able to have. It could be like, crazy ideas, whatever, but the flat earth or whatever, I mean, it really brings you to massage your brain and really feel that people think different, whatever reason they think the earth is flat or not. I mean, we learned that in school as well. We never went to space to see it. I mean, we have under the sea as well, and I never went under the sea, but we have an image and a concept about the sea and the sea life and all this stuff through movies and through documentaries and photos, which can be manipulated in every way, depending on the politics and depending on the context of the world you live in during, the 70s or the 60s, have a different context of today, So we should respect that as well. Not every information should be treated as the whole truth, but as a point of view,
Oh, I couldn't agree more on all those fronts. And, with that as well, I mean, living the life that I lived and being able to go from school and discovering Sepultura. And, it's just, it's rolling in my mind so much as a song like Slave New World, which hits on so many of those tropes that we're just talking about now. And then, you go ahead 30 years and we're still fighting some of those same things that was discussed back then. And there's so many people that, may not have had the access to be able to think differently, or they just feel like they
Sure.
should not be able to think differently. And just like you, I'm glad that you are fighting that good fight in this way to be able to show that no matter what you believe, no matter where you're from, no matter what color your skin is, anything like that, that it just, we all think differently, but we're all human beings.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, education, whatever type of education, you got it. You are a consequence of that, even accepting the education or denying the education, you have a relation with that information. Either you accept it or deny it. And you need to massage your brain, you need to really think and really see there are people that see the world different, and it's not necessarily wrong.
Yeah, it's so true, and and another thing that was being touched on as well with being able to massage that brain is that point that you were making before about the internet. Whether it is like a false news or misinformation or something like that. Even the idea of just knowing that people think like that, or just the ideas that they have coming across that, be it false or truth, just the fact that there are people that are thinking different things, and just knowing that not everybody's going to be thinking like you.
Yeah, and people have a tendency to trust, like, the government or, big brands like Volkswagen or Chevrolet and stuff, And, I mean, Volkswagen was a good example, but like a few years ago, they sold a car telling the car was the greenest car in the world, that was environmental friendly and stuff. And in the end, was the totally opposite. Was the most polluted car in the world in history, and was sold by means of propaganda and deceiving the opinion. And people believed in Volkswagen. And then you ask, why do you believe in Volkswagen? Where they came from? Just because of time, of tradition, because it's an old brand, because it's there for, I don't know, 100 years or whatever, And but that's not enough, You're gonna buy a car that people lie in the front of you and you believe, like the president as well. Why do you believe in the stuff he's saying? And then you contest like a fake or conspiracy theorist in the internet. It's like you have certain reasons why you trust the things you trust that you don't even know where it came from. You just defend ideas just because it's there, just because that's all that came to you, that reached you, because of television or whatever. If you were born in a farm, that you don't have radio or television, you have a completely different idea of the world, a more natural idea, more like the Indians, respecting nature, not making trash, or technology that creates so much trash and litter, so much poison, into nature and etc. And we here using iPhones thinking we are doing the right thing to the planet, and then we're not. In the end, we're not, but we are driven, to do this, and in the end, we think we have choices, but like I said, the algorithms and all that stuff that it drives you towards things that they want to sell to you because they think you're going to be able to buy that kind of stuff, and they tricked us all the time. So that's why it's great that you go out and really find different points of view, regardless if they're fake news or conspiracy theorists and stuff that doesn't have any sense or whatever. But in the end, you're going to see that people really see the world different, and there's room there for you as well to change your opinion or to go after new information that's going to give a better perspective or a better idea of an event or a fact,
Yeah, it's so very true, and yeah, and it's great to see that we have at least developed enough to where more people are being able to realize that you can be able to think for yourselves, that you don't have to just fall on past tradition, and being able to forge your own path and be able to discover new things. And with that in mind, wrapping it all the way back to Quadra, I'm so happy to see that some of these themes are being talked about and being spread. Whether it was from the beginning of Sepultura to all the way to now, just being able to see some of those themes like that mean so much to you, to be able to continue on those paths and being able to create new music and be able to spread that with the world.
Sensational, and thank you very much. I mean, it feels great to be here, like I said, with this album, talking the topics we were talking, and especially nowadays, with the politics and all this chaos that's is going on with wars and all that bullshit and stuff, and In the metal world, it was very aware always. I think we have fans that are very connected to everything that Sepultura is doing, what we're talking about, and they go after and they will seek for their own information and stuff, and hopefully we'll all go celebrate on the tour, on the stage.
Absolutely. And I think with that, I think that's an amazing note to end on. And thank you so very much for taking this time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in your world right now, the state of the world, and of course, the brand new album from Sepultura, Quadra, which is coming out February 7th through Nuclear Blast. I love this album from start to finish. I can't wait to be able to hear most of these songs live on the upcoming tour. And again, it was just a complete and utter honor to be able to talk to you about everything going on.
Awesome, Josh. I appreciate your time and the space for Sepultura. And see you on the road, man. Thank you very much.